Hello. I'm just biding my time because my husband's out of town and I'm bored. But it's 10:41 at night and I just wanted to make a separate video about separate issues other than the ones I've been addressing. And that's about the ADD and ADHD and ADD, same thing. Um, and about the anxiety. Well, apparently, I've had the generalized anxiety disorder for quite some time, especially more amplified after my son was born. But it didn't occur to mind that I also had ADHD my entire life, and I didn't know it because it didn't reflect in school when I was much younger. It reflected when I started high school, but I just figured I was going to be a B, C student and kind of just that would be that. But it affects a person in various ways, and it depends on the person because the person can also have other conditions with it. They can have anxiety, they can have depression, they can have post-traumatic stress disorder, they can have bipolar disorder, they can have any other mood disorder on top of the ADHD. Autism is big, and that's more of a neurological thing, but autism is huge with ADHD. So I'm happy to say that I decided to speak to somebody about it, and I mean I've always liked the concept of having a therapist and having somebody to talk to about your stuff because they're knowledgeable on these things and they give you coping mechanisms, and unfortunately they also give you pills. I don't want pills. I want coping mechanisms. I want ways in which I can utilize this to my benefit. And I understand, like if things get worse, then maybe I'll resort to needing chemical intervention, but my condition has never deterred me from living my life. So this is more of an elimination of ignorance on my part and learning how to deal with my biology. So in the past I've tried Wellbutrin and I already knew I had anxiety. If you hear something in the background, that's my son splashing around like a fish in the bathtub. I gave him bath bombs and he loves bath bombs. He's like a cat with the red dot with bath bombs. And I was on and off Wellbutrin for I think all the way to 2016, from 2013 or 2014. I think it was close to about 2 or 3 years. 2 years, I think, more. 2 years. And I would be on it for like 4 months and then get off of it because I thought I was cool. And then I'd get on it again and then be off of it. And then I'd try different dosages and different companies that made the generics. And so I've tried slow release, I've tried immediate release, I've tried extended release, I've tried 75 milligrams, I've tried 100 milligrams, I've tried 150 milligrams, I've tried 300 milligrams. I mean, I tried everything. And of course, my preferred dosage was the 150 milligram extended release. And the generic name, not that it matters, was bupropion. And I started getting all into it because I noticed a big difference in the beginning. I will say, I noticed that because it's a stimulant, it is an atypical antidepressant, and a lot of people actually use it to get off of smoking. And some people even use it for weight loss, which is not a good idea, in my opinion. The thing with it is it's helping you to release your own dopamine and helping you to release norepinephrine, as well as a little bit of serotonin, I believe. And so when you first start taking it, those first few days, you'll get this sense of euphoria. Like, whoa, because your brain is getting flooded with dopamine. And I always looked forward to those days because whenever I'd go off of it, it would take a few days for me to like detox, maybe like up to a week. And then I would start it again. I'd get the dopamine. Like, it would just, after the first day or the second day, it would just be like, everything is awesome. And not only that, I would remember things because with my ADHD, I have really, really bad memory loss. It's like, I'll walk into a room and I'll not know why I'm there, or somebody will give me a task 15 minutes prior and I'll completely forget. Don't even get me to try to remember your name if we first meet. I just don't remember things short term, but long term, yes. So how it goes from short term to long term, I don't know. And recently a friend brought up the fact that I confuse memories. So I'll think that things took place that actually didn't. They were either something I saw in a movie or something I dreamed about, or a conversation with another person. And my friend told me, because I got upset about something, and he was like, "You're mixing memories. This is actually how it happened." And I was like, "Oh shit, you're right." And I asked my husband, I was like, "Do I mix memories?" He's like, "Yes, you do." I was like, "I'm sorry, I can't help it. Like that. I wish that I could change it, but I can't. That's my makeup. That's my chemistry. My biology." So, when I was on Wellbutrin, I was remembering things that I hadn't thought of in years, and names and places and dates and details, and I was like, "Whoa, my brain is freaking strong." But going on and off of it, I eventually just stopped taking it because it was messing with my anxiety. It was making my anxiety worse at times, and I think my anxiety was getting worse PMS time roundabout, which makes sense, And also, I would get real bad tinnitus. I would also get angry really quick. So, because the epinephrine, come on. So, and I was doing okay. I thought that if I got off of it, I would go into a depression, but I never went back into a depression. Thank goodness. But yes, I do have trouble focusing. I do have issues with, I thought I had OCD, but no, I thought I had OCD because I would check things constantly. But no, it's because it was just the anxiety disorder. So, yeah, like I said, all I want out of these therapy sessions is just coping mechanisms. I don't want to be on antidepressants. I don't want to resort to that kind of medication. Another thing that was working for me on the opposite end of the spectrum was taking CBD at night. Granted, this was when I was on birth control. My hormones were different. But taking CBD at night helped to get me in the moment, relaxed, and ready for bed. It was a smooth transition to go to bed and wake up around 3 a.m. and then go back to bed around 4. I wake up around 7 and still feel rested. I mean, last night I had about 4 consistent hours of sleep and 2 other inconsistent hours of sleep. And I was okay for the day. So I think that I'm just one of those people that is okay with less sleep. Will I function more optimally if I get more sleep? Actually, if I go past 7 hours or so, I feel like lethargic. It's almost kind of like I overindulged and now I feel like slovenly. That's kind of what it feels like. So, I remember ever since my son was born, always waking up at 3 a.m. or 4 and being awake for about an hour before I was able to go to sleep again. So apparently people with my condition have or are always going to have issues with getting to sleep because their brain just won't shut up. Their brain just won't stop. And people like me do talk a lot. At least all the ones that I've seen online and all the ones that I know in person. We do talk a lot and we repeat ourselves a lot. We interrupt conversations because we're afraid we're going to forget what we're going to say. Some of us can be very outspoken and rude, but it's because we don't think, we don't put a filter on before we speak. And we're those type of people that are a jack of all trades but a master of none, because we're constantly looking for a new chase. Like we like the thrill of the chase, and that involves people as well. We'll get sick of people. We'll be all enthralled with something and then just drop it because it no longer offers the dopamine that we're looking for. And I couldn't have said it better myself. I follow this guy on TikTok and he's like, yeah, we're just looking for the next dopamine release. And I'm like, yes, that makes total sense. That's one way to put it. That makes total sense. But yeah, we're always looking for a reward system. And we have the ability on the opposite end of the spectrum to hyper focus on something and shut everything else out until we master it. But those are few and far between, and those are the things that we're constantly looking for. So God forbid it's a person. Whoo! But it's usually projects. So we become obsessed. And that can affect our relationships because we almost become idealists with everything that we do. We expect a certain outcome, and if a person doesn't live up to those ideals, then we get very upset. And to top it off, I don't know if this is entirely true to people with ADHD. Hold on. I know. If this is entirely true to people with ADHD or just kind of in general. No, don't turn off. But I was watching on TikTok that they're rejection sensitive, that they're sensitive to rejection. I was like, I think that's all people. And that they have executive dysfunction, meaning that they can't push themselves to do a task. They'll be sitting and thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And the reason that they do that is because they don't just think about doing what needs to be done and completing a task. They think about all of the little steps in between and how all of those little steps yield them no rewards. Like they have to condition themselves to think that in order to complete a project or in order to complete a task, that these little steps in between have to be rewarding, or else they won't complete it. So it's like it's not a lack of motivation. It's almost kind of like a dread. You dread the simplest of tasks. You'll sit there on the couch thinking about going to the grocery store for about an hour before you finally do it, if you do it. And it's like everything that you were afraid of that was going to play out, plays out. So then add my son into the mix, who has also got ADHD because he's autistic, who makes everything 15 minutes longer, who does not help the fact that I repeat myself. So we're constantly like two parrots, just like repeating to each other. And we both have inattention, and we both repeat. Like I said, repeat. I just repeated my repetitive statement. We're both just kind of interested in our own things, So when we're having a conversation, he's talking about analog clocks, and I'm talking about, I don't know, a movie that I saw, and we're having two separate conversations at the same time. And it's like, are you even listening to me? That is like the key component here. Are you even listening? So eye contact is another one. Like, we both have hard time making eye contact. I look at people's mouth when they talk. Because when I look at a person's mouth when they talk, I can focus on the movement. And if I don't hear something properly, which apparently a lot of us have an issue with, if I don't hear it properly, at least I can read their lips on what they were saying. And tone is another thing that I pay attention to, just in case I miss the message. But in order for people like me to pay close attention, I'll have to constantly be doing something else. So for those people that are like me, that are watching this video, they're likely listening to it and doing something else. You guys are probably playing a video game. You guys are probably fidgeting with something, picking at something on your body. You're probably cleaning or cooking or something. You're doing something else right now while you're listening to this video, because I know damn sure you're not watching it. Because it's just me sitting here talking, and that's not stimulating at all. So, yeah. So, the way that it's a detriment and the way that it affects my life negatively is memory and ideals and my sleep. I don't get adequate sleep because any little thing wakes me up. And I just can't complete certain things. I can't read a book properly. I'll have to read the same paragraph over and over and over again until it finally makes sense. And it's just like, it's like I beg for any other little thing to pop up so that I can become distracted and do something else. I've been trying to watch Frida, which is a 123-minute long movie, for the past, I've been trying to watch it all the way through since 8 o'clock. Right now it's 11. Because I'll pause it and go and mess with whatever my son's messing with. You know, or I'll be doing something with my animals, or I'll check something online, or, oh, look, there's video that I took today. Let me edit that video. Or, oh, I'm hungry. Let me go do that. And then all the while the movie's on pause. And then I got 3 other things that I'm trying to watch at the same time as the movie that I find more interesting in the moment. And then also when I'm watching a movie, it'll remind me of another movie, and then I'll begin to watch that movie, and that movie will remind me of another movie, and I'll have to watch that. It's like there's no impulse control. So, fortunately, my impulse control only extends as far as things like that. But you can see how some people might even take it further. So, that's the part that sucks. It's just like running and running and running and running and running. And it's like you never put the brakes on. You would figure that people like me would sleep like a log. No, we get really light sleep. My son, he does, but I don't. Because for a long time I was a single mother, and I had to be on my game, you know. I had to be there. I had to be protective. I had to be the one who's going to protect him while he slept. So it's hard to deprogram that. Anyway, so yeah, that's a little tangent on my issue with ADHD and what I'm going to try to do about it. And I'm hoping for the best. And like I said, it doesn't affect my life as negatively as it affects some people's. And I'm grateful for that. But it's still like, I need some resolve, especially with this memory deal, because I'm 39. I don't need to be having the memory of somebody 30 years older than me, you know, no offense. But yeah, so I think that's a good little tangent for now. And it's 11 o'clock at night. Need to get some stuff done and go to bed, hopefully. So I will see you guys in the next video.